Welcome back to ZBCN Today. Here's the wild part about what just happened with Zebec. This isn't one of those small announcements the crypto space hypes up for 48 hours and then collectively forgets. This is the type of update that quietly shifts the entire landscape before anyone realizes what they just witnessed. Zebec has officially been added to the Bloomberg Galaxy DeFi Index. Yes, Bloomberg, the same Bloomberg that hedge funds breathe through. The same Bloomberg that quant desks depend on to rebalance billions. The same Bloomberg whose indices literally act as the blueprint for ETFs around the world. Out of thousands of DeFi tokens in existence, Bloomberg selected only 19 to represent the entire sector, and sitting right there among absolute giants like Uniswap, Aave, Injective, and other long-standing titans is Zebec. People don't even understand how unprecedented this is. Bloomberg doesn't add microcaps. They don't gamble with assets that have unstable liquidity, questionable compliance, or teams that can't deliver. For them to include Zebec at this stage is basically Bloomberg saying, yeah, this one is real, this one is serious, this one deserves to be on institutional screens. And here's the part most retail traders don't get. Once a token enters a Bloomberg index, everything changes automatically. Funds that track the index must buy it. They don't have a choice. It isn't emotional, it isn't speculative, it isn't subjective, it's mathematical, it's mandatory. So while retail is busy arguing on Twitter about whether the news is bullish or not, real-world capital desks are literally being forced to buy Zebec simply because Bloomberg said so. Quant funds rebalance into it. Portfolio managers see it appear on their terminals. ETF creators begin structuring products around it. Institutional exposure moves from zero to unavoidable. That's the difference between hype and reality, between crypto noise and traditional finance mechanics. And right now, Zebec is walking straight into the second category without even blinking. Everything shared in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. And if you stack this Bloomberg inclusion on top of everything Zebec has done in the last few months, the picture becomes even crazier. They secured ISO 2022 compliance, which is something that real-world financial systems care about deeply because it aligns messaging standards with banks, payment networks, and global settlement rails. Then you pair that with Swift migration alignment, NatPay's integration into ACH systems, and the rising relevance of real-time payroll, streaming money, and automated settlement, and suddenly, Zebec doesn't look like a crypto project anymore. It looks like an infrastructure layer forming underneath the global payments world, while everyone else is still arguing about memes and bull runs. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. The bull market hasn't even fully arrived. Institutions haven't even started rotating heavy capital. Regulatory clarity is improving. ETFs are multiplying. The macro landscape is warming. And right in that exact moment, Bloomberg quietly places Zebec inside the same index that traditional finance uses to determine exposure allocation for DeFi. That is not random. That is not lucky. That is surgical. This is positioning before the wave hits, building the pipes before the water starts flowing, getting inside the system before the system even realizes how important that move will be 6 months from now. And for anyone still stressing about Zebec's max supply, let me be brutally honest, it means nothing to institutions. XRP has the same 100 billion supply and sits in the top tier of crypto with a triple-digit billion market cap. Supply is not the issue. Demand is, utility is, compliance is, integrations are, and Zebec is stacking all of those in a straight line like dominoes ready to fall. The part that should really shock people, but somehow isn't being talked about loud enough, is the ETF angle. Bloomberg indices aren't just charts. They are literal foundations for future ETF products. If a new DeFi ETF launches using the Bloomberg Galaxy DeFi Index, which many do, every asset inside that index becomes part of the ETF automatically. There's no application process, there's no maybe, there's no lobbying. Whatever is in the index becomes part of the ETF. Which means if someone launches a DeFi ETF tomorrow using this index, Zebec is inside that product by default. And that means more forced buying, more exposure, more institutional liquidity, more visibility. This is how assets quietly transition from small promising project to global institutional instrument long before retail catches on. And the funniest thing? We're only in November. Q4 still has news left on the calendar. Coinbase listings are still possible. December catalysts exist. The real mainstream attention hasn't even arrived yet. And Zebec is already sitting inside the index institution's trust before the market even wakes up. The rails are moving, and Zebec is already on the track. At this point, Zebec isn't fighting for attention in the crypto space anymore. It's positioning itself for financial infrastructure relevance, real-time payments, payroll automation, cross-border settlement, compliance-ready pipelines, enterprise-grade connections, and now institutional validation from Bloomberg itself. It's surreal watching a project make move after move after move while half the world still thinks this is just another token. You could look at everything they've done in the last 90 days. ISO compliance, Swift alignment, NatPay, FedNow adjacent workflows, enterprise expansion, and now Bloomberg recognition. And honestly, any one of these would have been considered a huge milestone for most projects. But Zebec is stacking them like a speed run. And if this is what they're doing before the full bull cycle even arrives, imagine what happens when institutional money truly starts flowing. Imagine what happens when ETFs spin up. Imagine what happens when enterprise adoption compounds. Imagine what happens when mainstream media catches on. The truth is simple. Zebec isn't positioning for right now, it's positioning for the next decade. And this Bloomberg moment is the clearest signal yet that the big players see it, even if retail hasn't figured it out. And that wraps up today's breakdown here at ZBCN Today. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us bringing you more daily updates on Zebec and the entire Web3 ecosystem. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. Give me title of this script.